Welcome to the Meredith Patterson Podcast. Here is your host, Meredith Patterson.
Hello, beautiful friends, and welcome back to the Meredith Patterson Podcast. I'm Meredith. I'm a performer, a storyteller, a coach, a singer, a dancer, an actress, a mom, a creator, so many hats that I wear. But I'm also someone who is stepping boldly into a brand new decade because on Monday, I turn 50. I know if you've listened to this podcast, you've heard me talk about this so much. So I'm just here to tell you guys something. I was really scared when I was about to turn 30. I really thought about it because my birthday's at the end of the year. I think about these decade years like all year long. And 50 is a big one, you guys. And I was more fearful of being 30 or even 40. But I have never felt more alive, more grounded, more powerful, and more excited about my next chapter, my 50s. So join me today because this episode is about acting as if, no matter what age you are or what age you're turning, acting as if. It's about removing the timeline that we're conditioned to follow. Because I don't feel 50, you guys. I don't even feel nearly 50. I have so much life left to live. And you know, one of my favorite people in the world, Dolly Parton, just said she turned 80 and she's got so much more to do. And I feel like I'm the same person. I will be that way when I turn 80. I really do believe it. Because we got to remove this timeline. We really have this thing that we're like, oh, and now I'm old. Or the one that says that success has an expiration date or that dreams are only for the young. And if you are young and you're listening, welcome. I love it because reinvention can begin at any stage of your life. So listen, I'm here to tell you there is no deadline. I mean, I even hate the word deadline because it has the word dead in it. There's no deadline. There's data, lived experience, you guys. And we get to decide what that means to us. So today we're going to explore how acting as if becomes even more potent, more truthful, and more aligned the older that we get. And why becoming doesn't just stop because, candles on your birthday cake increase, right? If anything, I know you guys who are listening who are of a seasoned age like myself, you know that it just gets better. I just told that to a girl who I met who was 23 years old. I said, it just gets better. It really, really does. So I just hope you guys believe that because I used to roll my eyes and be like, yeah, right, whatever. But it really does. So let's go into the myth of a timeline. Let's get honest, okay? Because society loves a timeline. Let's get married by this age. We have to have kids by this age. Now, biologically, that's kind of, important for women, but achieve financial stability by whatever age. And then at this age, your life better be in place and you can stop dreaming. You can stay in that lane forever and move on. But here's what I know to be true. That's never been my life. I honestly have pivoted many times, and turning 50 is making me realize that those timelines, they're not really real. And how many of these timelines that we have or these ages that we feel that we should be, are just absorbed without question. But the truth is, you guys, there is no late. There's only now. There's no age where you stop dreaming. If you're breathing, you're becoming. And we act as if we've missed our chance because we're keeping up with the Joneses or we're comparing ourselves to other people. But the truth is, your inner compass and your gut and where you are in your life is the timeline. You can always pivot. And if we act as if we missed our chance, when really most of us, we haven't even taken our first shot. Some people did that timeline and they just now feel like maybe you're turning 50 and you're like, my life is not what I want it to be and I need to change everything. So right now, I want you guys to sit there, whatever age you're at and whatever path you're on, ask yourself, What dream are you still carrying because some outdated timeline told you that it's too late? What dream do you have that you haven't even tried to do because you think there's all these rules attached to it? That dream is still alive in you for a reason. And you guys, reinvention and the neuroscience of reinvention is neuroplasticity. It doesn't retire. And here's the magic of turning an age that makes you jump into a new chapter. Your brain is still learning, growing, and adapting, even at 50, even at 80. Neuroplasticity doesn't retire. Your brain can literally retrain itself at any age. And the reticular activating system, the RAS, if you guys don't know what that is, that continues to filter your life based on what you believe about yourself. So the more, RAS is something that if you say you want to buy a new truck, you're going to see that truck everywhere because that is what you are focusing on. So the reticular activating system with your life is filtering your life based on what you believe about yourself. That's a lot to take in. So let me break it down. Let's unpack all of that. If you believe I'm too old to start over, then that's your belief. That's what your body and your manifestations are going to follow. The universe will follow what you say. If you say, I'm too old to get into the best shape of my life, I don't care if you're 70 years old. You're not. I'm too old to build a brand, a business, a book, a career. Your brain will hunt for proof that you're too old. That's the way it works. If you keep saying something, and your words are so powerful, you guys, your energy is more powerful than your words. But if you keep saying these are your beliefs, then that reticular activating system, your brain, that neuroplasticity will hunt for the proof that you're right. But here's the switch. If you act as if, okay, that's what we're talking about in this episode, acting as if. I'm just getting started. That's what I love about Dolly Parton when she said this. I'm 80 and I know it sounds silly, but I'm just getting started. I am entering my prime. This is going to be the best decade of my life. I'm becoming the version of myself I always dreamed of. Your brain will find the proof of that. Say that every day. Why say the other stuff? Don't do that to yourself. Don't set your neuroplasticity up to believe and try to find the proof of negative stuff. Here's something funny. I am going to be posting on here my morning routine, and a lot of my morning routine is finding gratitude. It's always coming back to that, but it's also rewiring my brain, and I'm trying something really new, but something that I've done before, which is kind of acting as if I am a millionaire, acting as if I have all my dreams and everything that I want to manifest for myself. I have it. I am this person. And watching what unfolds, but I'm really focusing on my energy when it comes to this, because you can say a bunch of things and your energy sucks. You can say all these things like, yeah, I'm rich, I am wealthy, I am abundant, and abundant doesn't just mean money. And your energy sucks. So what is the universe going to follow? It's going to follow your energy. Your brain is going to find proof of your energy. So I'm going to go back to this, what we were saying about I'm just getting started, acting as if. So when you're acting as if, you need to feel that you are entering your prime. You need to feel like you're just getting started. You need to feel that you are becoming the version of yourself you always dreamed of. You need to feel like a millionaire. You need to feel successful. The feeling is the most important part. Your brain and your energy and the universe will find the proof, and they will work out the how. They or whoever, whatever the universe is, will find out the how. That's not your job. Your job is to feel the feelings. So going back to that energy, one of the things that I do, you guys, is I I think of myself, and this is going to sound so silly. I was probably 10 years old. So my youngest is 10, and I love watching him just run around and be crazy. I put on a thing back in the 80s called underoos. Those of you guys who are Gen Xers know what I'm talking about. But those of you guys who have no clue what underoos is, underoos was like underwear, but it was like a uniform. So it was like Wonder Woman, Superman, whatever. I had Wonder Woman, and at the time, I just absolutely loved her. And I found something that I used as a gold rope, and I put it around my waist. And I put on my underoos and I jumped around the family room and posed and was acting as if. And the feeling that I had behind that, I am Wonder Woman. Now, if I was to declare I am Wonder Woman and had that feeling, then maybe I'd become Wonder Woman. I think I kind of am Wonder Woman with some of the things that I do in my life. But I use that example of me being a child because we need to feel that when we are acting as if with our dreams. This is not complicated. This is like being a kid. The problem with us being adults is that we make it complicated. We really do think too much. We really do think, oh, so silly. And why am I going to act as if? In fact, I was listening back to some of my mental health Mondays that I've done, and I've used the word silly quite a bit. And I'm actually going to stop doing that in my new decade. I'm not going to think it's silly. It's not silly. You know what's silly is having this free ability to change my energy and not doing it and not making it something that just radiates within me. You know those people that you walk into a room and you go, man, the energy of this person is incredible. That is the woman that I'm becoming. That is the woman that I am. And I'm never going to diminish myself ever again for anyone else. I'm going to literally walk in the room and light it up with my energy because I know how much good I want to do in the world. So I'm going to share something personal again. As many of you guys know, I spent decades in the Broadway world, dancing 8 shows a week, living in rehearsal studios, grinding with passion, and I loved it so, so much. And for a long time, I believed that era was my best era and that it defined me and that my best work lived there and that my biggest joys were in that decade. But here's what I'm realizing. Here's what becoming 50 is teaching me. I'm not done. I am not done, not even close. I am evolving into so many new chapters of my life. It doesn't mean that doesn't matter and isn't the building blocks of the woman that I am right now, but I started acting as if the next chapter would be my most aligned, most impactful, most fulfilling yet. I started acting that way before turning 50. I've been acting that way this entire year. I've been acting as if I'm already 50. Does that make sense? I had an incredible year, a challenging year, as a lot of us have had in so many ways. And whoever's listening and has gone through really tough times, I'm with you. But starting to act as if everything works out for me is a really good way to align yourself with good energy. I launched this podcast. I jumped in the deep end and learned to swim as I was going. I have published 2 books when I didn't really know how to do that. I've leaned into getting back into the coaching world and helping out so many people and teaching. I built a production company when I just did it step by baby step. I have done speaking engagements and master classes, and I am a creator who serves from experience rather than from striving. None of those decisions came from me waiting around and thinking about it. They came from me acting as if I already knew what to do and I was the woman I was meant to grow into. So where in your life have you underestimated your next chapter? And what would happen if you acted as if You're entering into your most powerful decade right now. And I don't care if you're turning 28, 17. If you're a 12-year-old and you're listening to this and you want your next decade before you're 22 to be your most powerful decade, let's go. Because you guys, it's declaration. That's all it is. It's deciding. So I'm going to give you guys 5 practices for becoming and acting as if at any age. Are you ready? I'm ready. Take a deep breath, because I love taking deep breaths before we learn new information. It fuels our mind. It gives our brain oxygen to absorb in this incredible information. So, number 1, speak your next identity out loud. Say, I am, whatever it is. I am a New York Times bestselling author. I am an international speaker. I am a masterclass teacher. I'm a creator. I'm in my prime. Identity begins with the language. But remember what I said earlier, you have to feel it. Don't say it and not feel the truth of that. Okay? Because your brain will go back and look for the proof that it exists. I am in my prime. I believe it. I think about so many things as an actress. I'd love to be back on television because I really feel like I'm in my prime. I feel like I'm way better of an actress than I ever have been. Way better. I have a way better essence about myself. I'm more confident. And I just can't wait back. I cannot wait to be back on television and in film. I really can't. I love Broadway. I can't wait to be back on Broadway someday, but in a very special project. But TV and film, I'm in, all the way in. And I am a series regular on a television show. There you go. Now, number 2, move your body like the future you. Does that make sense? At 50, movement feels different than it did when I was 25. Not worse, sometimes, just wiser. But move your body for the future you is what I would say. Stretch, breathe, lift weights, dance, walk at least 30 minutes a day. Move like someone who plans to be a vibrant 80-year-old woman. Really exercise for your future self, because all of that movement, that kinesthetic energy, it propels you. It's always back to energy, you guys. You need to move your body. Number 3, create space for joyful delusion. This is going back to that childhood energy, you guys, that my 10-year-old has and that I used to have. And I still do sometimes, you guys. I'm telling you, doing these episodes, I hope you feel my energy, because I am really, really pouring into all of you who are listening, but myself. Joyful delusion, the playful belief that your wildest dreams are possible, is hard to do as an adult. But I'm not going to say it's hard anymore. It's easy. It's just committing to it. It's not denial. It's alignment with the person that you are meant to be. It's like the episode that I did. If you haven't heard it, go back. It's already done. It's already done. So many incredible things that I have wanted in this world, I don't want anymore because they're already done. Joyful delusion is happening in my life, and I love it. Number 4, really important, super important. I've talked about this so much on this podcast. I've done Mental Health Mondays about it. Surround yourself with people who are expanders. Please surround yourself with people who show you what's possible at any age. People who say, do it. Not, I don't know, should you do that? Or you're being a little bit crazy. No, the brain mirrors what it sees, what it hears, what it feels. Surround yourself with people who are doing things that are out of the box. People who believe that 50 is, nothing's wrong with 50. 50 is amazing. And I'm going to tell you, 50 is amazing. There is nothing that I can't do. I'm not even kidding. So, number 5, journal as your future I will say 60-year-old self, if you happen to be younger and you're whoever you're going to be, whatever age you're going to be in 10 years, journal and write a letter to yourself. I've also talked about that. Go back to that episode and really write to your future self and write letters to your next decade. What did you build? Who did you become? What did you let go of? It's shockingly clarifying, and actually do it as I am. I am a 60-year-old woman who has an incredible life. And then dictate what your life is like, where you're living. And it doesn't even have to be something, it can be specific. I think it should be specific. But if you're not sure where you want to be living in 10 years, it's the sky is the limit. Okay. So let's really, I know I've been going a mile a minute and I'm so excited. I'm just so excited about creating this next decade. I take this daily, you guys, because I'm going to be really honest with you. If you think that I'm like this all the time, I'm not. If I had a GoPro on my head and you guys saw the ups and downs of my life, my downs are not that, they don't go on that long. And that's me meditating. That is me really committing to coming back to center. So, your age is an art. It's not a decline. My God, I so admire these beautiful women who are in their 80s, 70s and 80s, and how they live life and they just don't give a shit. They don't fear aging. And if they do, they're not showing it. I mean, they really just expand into bigger, more beautiful women. And we've been taught the opposite, you guys. We've been taught to fear aging. We've been taught to shrink and to disappear quietly into a smaller and smaller life. No, no. Stop making this the rule. Aging is an art form. You are sculpting and refining and layering yourself with wisdom and courage, and it's a beautiful thing to get older. And acting as if doesn't mean pretending to be younger. That's a whole other topic in itself. Don't pretend to be younger, you guys. Be 50. Be 40. Don't lie about your age, because that from the inside out will start to eat at you. It really will. Acting as if doesn't mean pretending to be younger. It means stepping fully into the power that this age gives you. I sat in front of this 23-year-old beautiful girl, and all she wanted to do was be older. And I kept telling her, just soak up the age that you are. You have so much time. But I remember being 23 and feeling like I had to rush. I had all these goals and everything I wanted to do. But you guys, there's no jealousy. Let's stop all of that women have to look younger stuff. I know we want to look the best we can. Let's say that. Let's not say we want to not age gracefully. We do want to age gracefully, but let's stop pretending that we're 25 when we're really 45. Okay, it's about becoming bigger, not smaller. When I when I look at pictures of my 25-year-old self, I don't wish to be her again. I mean, part of me wishes that I didn't make some of the mistakes that I made, but I say that because I don't wish to be her again, because all those mistakes that I made, they make me who I am right now in this moment. You know, my 25-year-old self, made all those mistakes so that I could feel this way right now. And at 50, I am finally unleashed to move forward with the knowledge that I've done that. I've tried that. That doesn't work for me. And I said that to this beautiful 23-year-old girl that I met recently and had coffee with her. I said, just wait. It just gets better. It really does get better, right? Everybody who's 50 and above, please start talking to the younger women. And I'm not trying to cut you guys out, but it's different for women than it is for guys. But I really, really want you guys to start acting as if 50 is the best decade, and start giving advice to these younger girls and say, oh my gosh. And it's not competition. It's not, their decade is great for what it is. I was thinking about that the other day. I was sitting on my couch, and it was like 7:00 at night. And I just said, God, I have no desire to even like think about myself in a big city at 28 years old, and 7:00 was when I was getting to the theater to do a whole show. And then I was going to go out after that. Now my life is it's just a different cycle. And do I miss the feeling of how cool that was? Kind of. But how cool is it to be up at 6:15, hugging my kids every day? I have an empire that I'm building. I have an incredible podcast, incredible books that I've written. Like I layer on how this decade and this part of my life is just as cool. So my love, here's the question I want you to take with you at the end of this beautiful episode and into this weekend, and into a very, very grateful and thankful holiday. What would you attempt to do today if age wasn't a factor? If you were literally ageless, what would you do? If society's timeline didn't exist, like you're too old, none of that stuff exists, it doesn't exist. What would you attempt to do? If you acted as if the best part of your life was unfolding right now, today, and what would you do? I ask this question all the time. If money wasn't an object, because money usually is what stops me, but it's so funny because money is energy. There's blocks, you guys. I'm going into 2026 working on some of this stuff. What would you do? I have a laundry list of things I would do. Because you guys, acting as if there is no age, there is no timeline, because the truth is there isn't. There is no timeline with you. Because we all know somebody in our world, or some celebrity or some person that we know that we're like, my God, they're ageless, or they just keep getting better. Do you think that they're not creating that life because they have no limitations? Because you guys, they just believe that they are becoming better and better as they get older. Think of Jane Fonda. I know I started this podcast talking about Jane Fonda. I love Jane Fonda. I love Dolly Parton. I love Cher. I love all these women, Stevie Nicks, all these women who are ageless. You're allowed to keep getting better, to grow, to reinvent yourself, to restart, to rise as many times as you want to. Because it's a privilege to be 50 or 60 or 70 or 80 or 100 or whatever it is that you are. Not everybody gets to be that age. So as I walk into 50 with open arms, I want to remind myself and all of you who are listening, your next chapter does not depend on any age that you're going to be. It depends on your belief. And belief is a choice that you get to make every single day. You decide. You decide what your next decade is going to be. And don't let anyone convince you that if your gut and what you want is something that they don't, let them. Bye-bye. You don't have to talk to me. Surround yourself with people who believe in you and lift you up, because your next decade is going to be incredible. So thank you guys so much for joining me for this special almost birthday episode of the Meredith Patterson Podcast. And if this resonated with you, you guys, I would be honored if you subscribed, left a 5-star review, and shared this with someone who may be turning 52, who needs a reminder that their best years aren't behind them, they're right now. And as always, remember, bliss is your birthright. You are meant to be blissful in this world and have vision for what you want, but be grateful for where you are every single day. Thank you guys so much for listening.